we went in for basically the wind went very, very light. We were in the doldrums and we were peeling from one head sail to another. So we were going from, I think it was from a masthead spinnaker to a masthead code 0, which is like a tight luft, very high-low sail. And we got it up into the top of the mast, into a lock system. There's like a little lock system, so like a bullet goes in, locks it in, and then down the bottom we tension the sail, tied into it. It becomes like another headstay. The sail flies off. And during the tensioning process, we realised there was an awful lot of load. They checked the rig, they had a look at it, and what had happened is the sail had fallen behind the spreader. You can see what was missing. It had fallen behind it, whereas it's supposed to be flying in front of it. And we carried on winding, and 6 guys with, you know, there's an awful lot of power goes into there, and there's an awful lot of sort of purchase systems on the deck. Basically the loading just tore it off the mast. You're a fucking jumper, top of the mast. Get a big torch!
Got the jumper.
Get the Nando. Slide in. Fucking like trying to 50 fucking.
Keep it down.
In some ways, if it obviously had hit somebody, it wouldn't have been very lucky. But for us sailing the rest of the race, the spreader landing on the deck was very, very fortunate. You know, it meant that I had something in my hands that I could essentially glue back on. So I looked at it and spent a couple of hours looking at it and working out what we were going to do. And I invented some sort of crazy system for gluing it back onto the mast, and spent the next sort of 12 hours building it.
Yeah, 60, 60.
There's a bar sitting outside here.
As you can see from the mast here, this cable is not joined to the cables that run all the way down to the bottom of the mast. So the way the rig works is that this cable creates compression onto the mast, so the spreaders are pushed on. So if I'd broken any of the other spreaders, I probably couldn't have fixed it. But because this one was, you know, the one that broke, essentially the compression holds the spreader onto the mast wall, as you know, which is what it needs. So it was actually quite an easy fix to do once I built the clamp, bonded it to the mast wall, and you know, it was in talks with Southern Spars as well. We obviously designed a mast. You know, I rang them a couple of times just to make sure that I was at least going down the right track with the mast, coping with the pressure and all the rest of it. So. And they were very happy. And in the end, they just told me to get up the mast and put some actually layers of carbon over the spreader and over the mast and bond it to the rig. They were very worried that although the spreader would take the pressure, that it could possibly bounce off. If we'd been up there in the top 3, I think we would have pushed a bit harder and probably flown them. And fingers crossed, it would have stayed up there. But you know, the crew made the decision to sort of take it easy on the last bits, which is why the Russians got past us and various things. So yeah, we're happy just to got here with the rig in one piece. Really.